Well, let's get more on the situation on the ground in the US. Let's go to Los Angeles. We're speaking now to journalist KJ Matthews, who joins us from LA. KJ, just give us an update of what's happening, what's unfolding across Los Angeles. We're still seeing those live pictures coming in of protesters taking to the streets there.
Yes, just momentarily, the mayor of Los Angeles has extended the curfew starting at 8 p.m. Local time here, which is exactly in about 45 minutes, to Sunday morning at 5:30 a.m. Now, this comes after last night in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, there was a large protest where a number of businesses were vandalized and looted, and the looting and the vandalizing and the protesting went on for hours. That didn't stop. Today, there were more protests. Instead of being in downtown Los Angeles, the protests moved west to an area called the Fairfax District, where there are a number of shops, upscale shopping centers. And there was vandalizing and looting at a Whole Foods grocery store. A Nordstrom's upscale department store was looted. There were a cop car that was overturned. There seemed to be more than 1,000 people out there today. More like 500. I think that's probably an increase of 500 people overnight. There was also a protest in the city of Beverly Hills. So the numbers are swelling. They seem to be taking their cue from the protests that were going on in Minneapolis and all around the nation at this point in time.
And KJ, what's been the response of law enforcement there? We've obviously had the National Guard called in several other US cities, the military also being put on standby. What's been the response?
Well, so far, we've only heard from the governor and we've only heard from the mayor of Los Angeles. They have not stated that they're going to call in the National Guard here in the state of California yet. What they are trying to do is really institute a curfew and press upon people that vandalizing stores and looting is not the way to get the point across. It is not the way to bring about change with our justice system, and just to understand that the people who are really hurting when you're looting are the business owners, the people who want change as well. So they're really trying to speak to their better half and having press conferences and newsers and sending more cops out to institute this extended curfew that goes into effect in about 45 minutes here in the city of Los Angeles.
And of course, we can't forget that all those years ago, Los Angeles was the scene of riots following the actions taken against Rodney King. So this must be bringing those memories back for a lot of people as well across the city there.
Absolutely. People have not forgotten the riots that happened after the Rodney King verdict, where a black man was beat by a number of officers in that situation and got off. So this is still very ripe to people who live in Los Angeles. I was born and raised here in Los Angeles, so I'm an LA native, and I remember it very, very well. And so many people are just dismayed that they thought that we had moved past that in Los Angeles, that we were over that. And here we are, decades later, in the same situation, still discussing police brutality. So it's very disheartening for a lot of people that live here, and it's especially disheartening for people who were born and raised in Los Angeles, such as myself, even though I'm a journalist.
And KJ, is there a sense that there are elements who are taking advantage of the protests? Obviously, we've seen, a range of different responses. Obviously, there are peaceful protests going on, but we're also seeing elements where, buildings are being torched, people are, taking violent actions in the streets. Is there a sense that there is more to this?
Yes, I think there are three types of people out there, and people aren't distinguishing between all of them. I think there are bona fide protesters who are very disheartened by what they saw, meaning George Floyd killed by a police officer on Monday here in Los Angeles. They're very, very upset about that, and they're out there protesting police brutality. But I also think you're right. There are a number of people who have showed up to take advantage of the situation. That's the second group. But I think the third group is there are a lot of people who have probably been bussed in that have nothing to do with these protesters, but are simply there to make them look bad. So it's becoming very difficult to kind of distinguish between the people who are out there to try to affect change and really want to bring awareness to police brutality, that is, and then the people that are out there just to cause more mayhem. So it is disheartening to see that image out there amongst the people who are legitimately protesting.
An incredibly volatile situation. We do appreciate your time speaking with us. KJ Matthews, journalist there from Los Angeles. Great to speak to you.